Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. Alright folks, here we are just after market close on Monday, November 15th. We're going to take a look at Palantir today. I do cover Palantir every Monday, so if you're new and that would be interesting to you, feel free to subscribe and hit the notifications so that you get that moving forward. Alright, so we're going to clean the chart up a little bit today because we've fallen through some of the trends that we have been tracking along the way. Obviously with the sell-off here, this pushed it through the bottom bound of the channel, so I'm going to pop this channel out for the time being. That expands or something sort of reforms, we'll go from there. I am going to leave this red box here because the thing that we were sort of worried about was that it would continue to sell off at this range, being that it's topped out there twice and then struggled with it on this third time here, though that was assisted by some bad news, and it topped out there again just recently. So I'm going to leave that there as a clear sort of challenging zone for Palantir. Now, we do need to chart some support zones to the downside, see where a catch might be in place. The first most obvious one, I don't know if this is the closest one in, but the most obvious one to me at the moment is right, let's say it's actually probably right here is better. Look, 2119, previous strong support here, support here, support here, support here. It doesn't flip a lot to resistance, like the resistance that we saw here. You know, it did move in that motion there, but it wasn't super strong. So I don't know, this level will be phenomenally strong, though maybe this is pretty solid. This flip here from resistance to support and then reconfirming support before this run up to 45, that looks pretty solid to me. So I take it back. I think that's probably going to be a pretty strong zone. Now the other level that I would say pops out is this one here. This might be slightly above where it's at right now. Let's see. There's a couple of... Where do we want to situate this? I would say place it right about here. This is going to be very close to where the price is. So 23.34, I think, is where that is. So just the nearest support for sure. But you see support here. It was this kind of gap-ish situation here where it didn't quite need support at that level. That's kind of what I was wondering about, but you see this catches this resistance and this support back here, and so it seems a little bit more in line with me. Support here in this level and here in this level, flips from resistance to support here, confirms the support there, reconfirms it there. So pretty solid. 23.34 there. So you know, I'm just going to leave it with those, and we don't need 1,000 price targets to the upside and to the downside, I don't think, at the moment. You know, we check in on Palantir weekly, and that gives us enough opportunity to kind of move with the motion as it goes. Looking at some of the other things here, if I have the EMAs here, let's see what's going on with the EMAs. So obviously situated in a bearish formation now, so we'll see if it can start to trek up toward those right in the $24 range. I don't know if it'll catch much resistance up until that level, but certainly if it can confirm support at this 23.34, then, you know, a run at that 12 EMA might be the next thing in the cards. The Ichimoku Cloud, looks like it's coming. Well, the conversion and the baseline just kind of sitting on top of each other right now, so it's waiting to choose the direction is what it looks like at the moment there. On the MACD, bears are sort of picking up momentum there at the moment, kind of holding the real estate between the MACD and the signal line, and on the RSI, trying to make its way back up toward the mid-range, the 50 level on the RSI, to see if it'll reject off of there and head back down. Maybe that would cause it to test that 2119, or if it's able to come back through and establish over, maybe that gives it enough opportunity to try to run at that 24.45 and see if it can catch any flipping of resistance to support there and kind of unlock an attempt at 26. So that's what I see on the daily side of things. I didn't look at the intraday, to be honest, but we could take a look here and see. Yeah, just kind of moving in a pretty solid channel here today. Actually, that's pretty, I mean, I don't know that anyone would have played this as a channel play. It probably wasn't enough action to really make anything that's interesting, but it did just consistently stretch the top, confirm the bottom, confirm the top, bottom, top, bottom. So, but the moves are pretty minimal, right? You're moving basically within the $23 range, and even then you're moving the low 23 to the mid 23, so you're only moving through about 40-50 cents for the most of that. So just kind of a boringish day, though it did have a nice run up into the day, right? Run up here, continued to run it, and then stretched up, and then didn't retrace all the way back down, and continued to kind of grind its way up. So it was able to, like on paper, have a nice plus 2.54% day up. Like I said, that's really just a bunch of work being done at the beginning of the day, and then it just kind of grinding the rest of the day in a relatively small range. Now, before we flip over to the data, we'll check out some data from Unusual Whales and some data from Ortex. I do want to mention that I'm going to be putting out a Patreon pretty soon, so if that's sort of in your field of vision, I'll talk more about that as we get there. I'm also going to put out a video that kind of talks about what it'll be. In the meantime, if you do want to support the channel, I wouldn't resist that in any way, shape, or form. Some folks have wondered if they could, throw a few shekels, make some donations my way, just to sort of support the channel, and I said, sure. I didn't really know what to do for that, so I just put my Venmo in the description below. So have it that if that tickles your fancy. If you want to do it in a non-monetary way and still support the channel, sharing any of these videos that you find interesting on StockTwits or Reddit or Twitter, wherever you talk or share stock info, that would also be super appreciated and very cool. Okay. This is Unusual Whales. So this is just to sort of see what the big movers, the whales, are betting on in any particular stock. So fairly bearish here today on Palantir. So this is premiums over 50K. So these are pretty big orders, and really only a couple coming in today. These are both bearish, buying $23 and $25 puts. $25 put expires at the end of this week, and the next one isn't for about a month out in December, but that's a $23 put. So somebody making a bet here, I didn't mean to click that, but somebody making a bet here that Palantir will be under $23, and a premium of over $1 million. So these are some pretty big bets. The other possibility there is somebody has a really sizable long position of just shares, and they are buying this as a hedge. So that's certainly a possibility as well. But as you see here, just a string of bearish movements that came in on the 11th. So that was last Thursday, right? And a bunch of put options that are expiring this Friday. So we'll see if it continues to be able to, drudge its way up and out of the muck this week, or if it sort of succumbs to some of that downward pressure that it has seen recently and needs to test that 2119 or what have you. But that's what the whales are doing at the moment. The intraday analysis showing here, most activity here on the call chains. It's not, as far as I can tell so far. I'm pretty new to Unusual Whales, but it looks pretty common to me. And the biggest option trades from today. Now, the reason, just to be clear, that this only shows two from today. First of all, premium range 50K, but also more importantly, these are just for expiration dates in the next month and a half, so 45 days from today, whereas this will take any trades regardless of the expiration dates. Okay, so you'll see a bunch here that are much further out, right? It certainly catches the two that we had on there because those are so high, well over $1 million in premium, but then all of these are much further than 45 days out. So you see years 2024, 2023. So, but sort of what do we got here? 4, 5, looks like 5 and 5. 5 bears, 5 bulls. This is interesting. A bullish move that's for 2022. So for January 21st, 2022, that's not that far away, just a little over 2 months. Somebody is selling $50 puts. So theoretically, they're making a bet there that by January 21st, 2022, Palantir will be over $50. I mean, It's an 81K premium, so maybe to that whale, that's not that much. Maybe it's part of a larger strategy. I don't know. That just seems exceedingly high strike to be selling that put at, but we'll see here in 7 weeks or sorry, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, see what happens. But that's quite crazy. These seem a little bit more reasonable, at least, right? Because this is 2023 and 2024. Seems much more reasonable to me. By the same token here, somebody is selling a call that expires in January of 2024 for a $15 strike. So hypothetically, they're thinking that Palantir will be under $15 by January 19th of 2024. Like I said, there might be much more complexities to this than we can see on its face. But sometimes it's funny to kind of look through this and see what the ones that just look kind of wacky are. And that $15 and $50 one, they look equally as wacky to me. So we'll see what happens. But that's what we see on the flow side of things. Quite a bit of dark pool activity actually on Friday. Dark pool volume well into the 8 million, so 8.768 million. And maybe that helped bring the price up today. I don't know if there was a bunch of consumption on that day. I don't know what the orders were, buys, sells. I'm sure it was probably a mix, but it is always interesting to see when you have these bumps in dark pool volume, what sort of follows that. Is it generally the price jumping up, creeping up, smashing down, creeping down, what have you, but always just on the lookout for patterns, as you would imagine. Sometimes they can be hard to glean. All right. Yeah, these downgrades are certainly not going to help, of course, coming out of the reaction last week, but so it goes. There's definitely still a lot of, I think, bullish retail sentiment, at least around Palantir, and potentially also in the institutional settings as well. On Ortex side of things, price change coming down over 5% the last month. Actually have a little bit of a green side on the consensus price targets from analysts, though it still is mixed in a bearish sort of situation with there being 4 sell, 3 holds, and 2 buy ratings. So it goes. Seems that analysts and the media have forever just kind of not liked Palantir. Shorts coming in quite heavy today, actually, 24.89% increase, but even then it just brings the short interest percentage of the free float to 4.81. So that's still quite low. Days to cover quite low, cost to borrow low, utilization low. So for whatever reason, they kind of jumped in today. I don't know. Maybe we'll see if that has anything to do with this relatively bearish flow over the last several days, with a lot of strikes that are expiring this Friday. Maybe there's something else ahead there. we'll have to see, but interesting to see them coming in quite heavy today. I mean, relative to Palantir often having a small percentage of the free float being shorted. All right, folks, well, that's Palantir as I see it for the moment. Kind of waiting for it to see if it wants to recover or test that 21.19, and if it does, what it does there. If it wants to come up to that $24, $26 level, test there, see what it does. Just kind of waiting for it to make a strong move to one direction and see when it tests that level, be it to the upside or the downside, how does it react? And that might give us some more clear indication of what we can expect in the sort of coming months, or at least sort of as we get ourselves through the rest of 2021. All right, folks, I hope your trading week got off to a good start, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.